We live in troubling times. And God's word is for us truth in the trouble. And in this strange COVID-19 season, everyone is looking for answers to questions relating to the season. People are searching for truth. And it can seem impossible to know what is truth in the midst of the noisy, contradicting viewpoints that are bombarding us from all sides. And if we're not careful, we can easily fall into frustration or fear or anger or criticism or indifference. In troubling times, we need truth. And while the truth about this virus or the constitutionality of these current restrictions we live in, or the truth about hidden agendas or all the other things we read about online right now, these things may never become fully clear to us. The good news is that in times of trouble, we can know real truth, the truth of God's word. God's word is truth that is above our troubled times. And God's word diagnoses truth. It helps us determine whether our heart and our posture is standing in truth. God's word also leads us. It's like a lamp shining in a dark place. God's word is like a light that can direct our steps and direct our lives, and we can stand on and live in his truth. God's word also transforms our mind. In this season, we need to have our minds transformed. God's word helps us think clearly and act according to God's plan and God's truth. God's word also liberates us. Jesus said that the truth would set us free. This is what God does. God's word liberates us, sets us free from frustration and anger and criticism. But God's word doesn't just liberate us, God's word also equips us for the spiritual battle that is raging around us. The world is engaged in a spiritual battle, and God has given us a spiritual weapon. We live in the midst of a raging battle, but God has a battle plan. And God's word finally also leads us to Jesus. Jesus is the Prince of Peace. Jesus is the Lord of Lords. The word only and always leads us to Jesus, where we find peace and freedom and victory. The truth of God's word pulls our minds and our hearts and our eyes off of the current crisis and helps us see God's kingdom plans in the midst of the trouble around us.